Hi, I'm Diane. This is Epic Conversations. Thanks for joining us. Today we have a good friend again, Austin Brown. He has his own business, ABConstruction Inc., located in Colorado Springs. Austin is also a husband, father, and has 2 children, ages 1 and 3. And I've always wondered, how does he balance work and family, especially with your own business, which is more responsibilities. So we're going to hear from him today. Austin,
Yeah.
I have to you. Balance, I got to hear this. How do you balance your work, your business, with your family, especially being young?
Yeah, well, the last few months, not much sleep. That's how you do it. That's how I'm doing it right now.
So we don't sleep much?
Not much. Yeah. So I think, it's definitely, you have to make family a priority. You know, God tells us, to me, it's pretty clear in His Word. Scriptures that come to mind are Ephesians 5:28-29, where God admonishes husbands to love their wives as themselves. I think it actually says to cherish and love. So it's kind of hard to do that if you're never around. Okay, that's not going to work. Yeah, and then it also tells you to the fathers to provoke not their children, and it says to bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Kind of hard to do that if you're never around either.
Yes,
so
that's a good
I think
point.
to me, the most, when you talk about the wife, having a wife, you know, that God has, that's a responsibility. And I think I don't know, I can speak this as being a man, so, because I am one, you know, so I can tell you a mentality that I see in I guess to say a propensity that I see in myself and other men when they get to business is that it's like it can consume you if you let it. I liken it like this. So several years ago, I went to Sand Dunes National Park down in about 3 hours south of us here in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And I went with my brother, sister-in-law, and a couple of their friends. And so you get up there, and there's just when you drive up, first you see there's like a large sand dune, but you don't see what's on the other side of it. Okay, so you oh wow, look at that, that's a hill. And then so as a man, conquer the thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there. And so I remember we were walking up there, and I'm just going for it. I mean, you can imagine walking in sand on the beach. You know, that's difficult. Okay,
Yes,
try doing it uphill. All right, like a pretty good hill. And so I mean, it's kind of wear you out. And so I've always been, you know, God's blessed me to be in really good shape, and being in construction, that helps. I always said I don't have to have a never pay for a gym membership because my job provides it. I get paid to work out. So I was in good shape, and I'm climbing up this hill, and I'm going to get to the top of that sand dune. The faster the better. And then I look around, and like, where's everybody at? They were like, 30 to 50 feet behind me, and they're like sitting down, resting. They're like, can you wait up a minute? I'm like, yeah. And I got so into getting to the top of the hill that you leave people behind you. And I think that's what you can do in business. I've seen that in business. I can think of one particular acquaintance of mine that I can't say for sure, but I just had this feeling that I knew he was in business for himself. And I just got this impression that it was really consuming, really taking a lot of his time. And somebody came in and basically took his wife. I mean, obviously we have choice. Everybody has choices in life, but I think what she did, obviously you know, that was a very grave mistake on her part to allow that to happen. But I also think that it may have started, I get the impression it started before that he wasn't around as much as he should have. And in my brief marriage experience, been married so it'll be 5 years.
5 years,
coming up
okay.
in December. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. So, if you do what the Bible says, what happens, right?
Yeah, right.
What he's talking about. Maybe we should listen. That to love and cherish your wife, probably gonna stay around. You know, I mean, you're around and you treat her like God tells you to, then you're gonna have success.
Yeah.
And so to make that a priority to be around.
Mm-hmm.
That if I have, and so what I usually do if my workload's heavy, and which lately it's been very heavy,
Mm-hmm.
that I will get up early before she's awake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, obviously you can't really try and nurse and cherish your wife while she's sleeping and see how much success you get there. Don't do that. Okay, throw a little marriage tip in there. Don't do that while she's sleeping. Let her sleep. So what I do is I get up early and I get what I need to get done. I get an early start to my day, and then usually, after she usually goes to bed sooner than I do. If I have to, I try and keep that to the minimum as possible because you need sleep too.
Right.
That I'll stay up maybe an hour or two after she goes to sleep and get work done there too. So I really put a priority on spending time with them. And so usually most of the time I try to be home 4:30, maybe 5 at the latest,
Mm-hmm.
with rare exceptions, to be home because we like to go on walks together as a family.
Oh, that's nice with your children
With
too.
our children, yeah, and so we get to talk, and I think they get to see that. It's healthy for children to see that interaction, because I think a lot of times in this life you get a lot of people get into family life. Most of the time, especially nowadays, both spouses are working. So
Yes.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and so you got overspend. Get a big house that they shouldn't have, 2 or 3 cars that they really, didn't need with high car payments, and then you're stressed out trying to get work, and so I think that's been a really kind of like a downturn in our society where children don't get to see their parents interact, and I think they need that. I think it's healthy for them.
Yes, it
And
is.
so we really try to make a priority on that, and then I pretty much, like I said, if I do work weekends, it's when everybody's asleep, so I'll get up early or stay up a little bit later. And that we take Saturday and Sunday. Usually Saturdays are a little big family day. We'll do something like, I think last week we went to the pool together and enjoyed that. And I think that you really have to, and I say I'd have to really keep a front effort, because I could honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I could work 7 days a week. It's not something, I don't hate it, I don't dread it. But I know that is not my calling. And some people, they can take that different ways. But I'm just saying, It's not something I hate where I'm like, oh, thank God it's the weekend, or TGIF or whatever. I mean, I enjoy my job. So I could slide into that. But I know that is a calling, but it's not all my calling.
Mm-hmm.
My calling is, I love my wife. I wouldn't have married her if I didn't, right?
Right.
Okay. So I want to spend time with her. I want to build that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as business owners, as men, it's more of we get into that. Sometimes we can get, you know this, women are way better multitaskers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because men are like, one thought and that's it, they're gone. Just like I was up that hill was there people here? So we can get so single focused that we kind of, we can't keep, one thing at a time, right? So I think that's what business has that opportunity to draw men into, that we get so focused into that we lose focus of things that are higher priority in our life.
Mm-hmm. Now, it sounds like you're using some kind of time management priorities
Yeah.
and making sure that God's first, your family is second, and then the business.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that the purpose of business is to serve others. And us also, we can get into that, but we also need to serve our family.
That's right.
I mean, I have seen a lot more so in what we call a lot of people consider ministry, like a pastor or specifically pastors. But I've seen it more so there than I have necessarily in business. But I think they're very closely related. That you can get into so much in serving other people that you drop off your family.
Yes.
And I've seen the results of that, and it's not good.
That's
I can think of several right off the top of my head that they were busy. They got so much into serving people in the ministry and they lost their kids. They didn't die, but they're basically unsaved. They're out in the world. They're just, they're gone. And I think that's sad to me. I mean, I think a big responsibility, I feel, as a father is to, like it says in Ephesians 6, to bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. And to be around to do that. And that's I think one of the big things that really contributed to my life was that my dad was always around. Because, I mean, he had to work sometimes 3 jobs. I never knew that because it was all at night when I was asleep. But he made it a priority to spend time with us. And I think that's all we have. I have 2 other brothers, and both of them are doing well with their family. I mean, they really are family oriented and make that a priority in their life. And I really attribute that to our dad being around us when we were growing up.
That's a good
especially
point.
in our early years. I mean, as you get into like early to mid-teens or something like that, you don't have to necessarily be around as much as you do when you're young. But I've heard it said that during the first 4 years of a child's upbringing, they're pretty much set for life.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm like, wow, you would think that 4 years old, how much can they understand? But I've also heard it said that children from about 0 to 4 are operating on genius level intelligence. I mean, they're like stratospheric in their intelligence during that age. And if you're absent during that time, especially as a father in this world, as a Christian father, to bring them up, you can pretty much set. I mean, when I'm putting them, so I make sure we alternate when we put them down at night. We always joke, oh, who gets Juliana? That's our daughter, because it's a little bit more drawn out. She's 3 and she likes to talk and she likes to do this, and sometimes she doesn't really feel like going to bed. You have to convince her, and so it can be like a 40-minute drawn out process some nights. And you're like, oh man, I just want to go to sleep. And then you get him, all he needs is a bottle, 5 minute, maybe 10. He sucks it down, he's out. And he doesn't want you to hold him, he doesn't want you to rock him, he just wants to go to bed, get me out of your arms, put me to sleep. It's like, so we alternate. And so who gets the quick night tonight? So, and that means the son. But to be there. And so when I'm holding him, when I'm putting him to sleep, I mean, we talk about God. We talk about that God has a purpose for your life. I tell them that I tell them that every night, but it alternates on which one I tell it to. That you have a purpose in your life, and God has called you to do great things for the kingdom, and just reaffirm that, because that's going at that age. I mean, I've learned a lot at that age on how important that is. That you instill that. Good luck to anybody trying to change them later.
That's good. You're putting the roots right in there.
Yep. And that's the priority when it comes to children. You got to be around. I mean, not just they say that with when you like spending time in a relationship with God. It's just not quantity. I mean, it's I spend quality time. No, you do need quality time, but you also need quantity of it. And if you think that, that a relationship with God, you need to do that with your family too. It's not just quantity; it's quality. Wow. And if you have to, okay, do a little bit without some sleep if you're really pressed, but don't sacrifice your family for it.
That's awesome, Austin. That is just perfect. That's beautiful. You sound like you've got a good balance in life with your business and your family. Thank you very much for sharing. I hope you caught that. That one was awesome. We enjoyed having you join us, and if you're enjoying the episodes, please subscribe to this channel and share it with a friend. In the meantime, have an epic day in the Lord.